Hi everyone, welcome to Art Break Live. I'm Suzy Wolffe and I work in the education department at the Baltimore Museum of Art. And today we're going to look together at the art of an artist named Jo Smail, who has an exhibition going on now at the BMA called Flying with Remnant Wings. And unfortunately, because the museum is closed, we can't see these works of art in person. So I thought we'd take a look at them together now. And as we do, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them below and I'll take a look at them during our question and answer period. So Jo is an artist who was born in South Africa, but now lives and works in Baltimore. And she actually lives close to the BMA, so that she says she's in and out of our galleries all the time. And she's an artist who takes photographs and draws and paints and makes collages. And it's the collages that we're going to focus on today. We're all going to look at them together. And a collage is made when an artist takes all different kinds of materials. So say cardboard, canvas, newspaper, fabric, paint, and puts them all on one backing, and sometimes lays these materials over each other. So we're going to look at collages. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you some materials that remind me of things in Jo Smail's work. And I've gathered these materials from around my house to create an artist toolkit of materials that I'm going to use later to make a collage that I'll show you during our question and answer time. And what I hope showing you all these materials and showing you a collage later does is to make you want to create a work of art inspired by Jo Smail's collages. So let's take a look. So this first work of art has such a great title and a story about the title that I'm going to save that for last until after we take a look at the collage. Well, one of the first things we see when we look at it is a yellow and green plaid shape that the artist has actually painted on a different canvas and cut out and pasted to the canvas behind it. So she cut it out and then pasted it to this canvas that we see here. And then she painted small circles, small black circles on the surface, and then painted a really interesting shape on this side of the canvas, also in black. And if we use good detective eyes, when we look at the top of the painting, we're going to see some strips of raw canvas. And canvas is the material that artists use to paint. It's very heavy material that'll hold paint well. Well, she used raw canvas, which means that this canvas has not been painted on. It's just the material, and she's done something fabulous here. So she's cut strips, but then allowed the little threads from the cutting to stay on the collage to act as part of the collage. So I want you to look really carefully for me. And here's my question. Is this work of art just one collage? Take a look around. And if you say no, there are two parts to the collage, I'd say you're absolutely right. So look down and to the left of this big collage and you'll see a smaller one. And on that smaller collage, you'll see black and pink paint that Jo Smail has painted on a separate canvas and that she cut out and glued on to make her collage. And there again is just a little bit of raw canvas at the top with some threads hanging down. So let me tell you the story about the title of this collage. So both pieces were hanging in Jo Smail's studio, and somebody came in, didn't have a name at that point, and somebody came in and said, looked at it and said, you know, this reminds me of a person walking a dog. And Jo looked at it and she loved the title, and so she calls it Figure in Plaid Walking a Dog. And I guess that little dog is that small canvas below. So there's the figure walking the dog. I love that story. So let me show you the materials that I've gathered that remind me of some things in this collage that I'm going to put into my materials toolkit and might use when I make my collage. And the first thing is, I don't really have a canvas to work on. So I am going to use this file folder that's kind of thick to make my collage and probably glue it onto this. And I really love the plaid of this collage. Unfortunately, in my house, I don't have any paints, just as I don't have any canvas, but I do have a lot of magic markers. And I'm going to use these magic markers when I figure out, when I start playing with materials to make my own collage. And so I have some white paper that I can draw on and cut out just as Jo Smail did and put these right on my, whatever I decide to use as a canvas. It might be cardboard or it might be my manila folder. So if I'm going to do that sort of work, I'm definitely going to need some scissors, right? And I'm going to need a glue stick. Now, if you don't have any of these materials, it's totally fine. You can just find things that you have at your house. And if you don't have a glue stick to use, you could try putting pieces together with tape or with a stapler. And if you don't have that, no problem. Just put your materials down on the ground and you can take a picture of it and that can be your collage. So I have one more material that I found, and it is masking tape. I love the fact that Jo used strips of raw canvas at the top of this collage. But as I said, I don't have canvas at home, but I found some masking tape that I thought was sort of a similar color to the raw canvas on her collage. And so I thought maybe I might use strips of this masking tape later. So if you forget what I've put into my materials toolkit, don't worry. At the very end, I'll show you everything that I've gathered together. But right now, let's take a look at a wall entirely filled with collages. So aren't these collages great fun to look at? They are from a collection of over 60 collages that Jo is still making and adding to this collection. I'd love for us to do a little comparison between figure and plaid and the collages on this wall. And I'd love for you to look for a second and see what elements do they have in common? What is similar between them? Take a look. When I look, one thing I see are bright colors. So in figure and plaid, we have the green and the yellow. And when we look at this wall, we have those colors too, but we also have orange and blue and purple and bright pink. So I think Jo really likes bright colors, likes to work with bright colors. And I also think she likes to work with line. So we have the lines that are used to make the plaid and figure and plaid. And then when we look at this wall, we see plaid again, and we also see diagonal lines and stripes that she uses. So I think she likes to play with line. And the other thing I think she really enjoys is if we look at figure and plaid, you see that shape of the figure, that gorgeous sort of curve that she uses. Well, if we look at this wall of collages, we see, for the most part, that same soft shape. And yes, she does use straight edges on her collages in this collection, but there's a lot of curve to it. So let's take a closer look, and we're going to see what's different just very quickly. And one of the things is that the collages are not glued to a rectangular canvas background, are they? What she does is that she makes these, for the most part, out of cardboard and then cuts it out so that they can go against the wall in sort of that shaped form. Now, if we get close and look at one of them, we see this hot pink paint that she used, right? But then look closely and tell me, what did she use to get that orange color and the pattern on the orange color? Well, here's Jo in a fabric store. And those bright patterns are from fabrics that she has purchased. And I told you she was born in South Africa, and she collects fabric from the west coast of Africa, from Nigeria down to South Africa. Now here's something great. She said that she used the fabric that she has in her hand on one of the collages in this collection. And what I'd love for you to do is take a minute and look at the collages and see if you can figure out which collage this fabric was used on. Here you go. So if you chose this one, you're correct. She used that pink fabric on the collage, and then she added blue fabric on top and put it on cardboard, and then cut the cardboard out, and then added these 5 round pieces of cardboard that she put diagonal lines on, and a plaid. And there's one more fabric that she said she used. If you look at that sort of dark red fabric with the yellow stripes on it, and look at the wall of collages, you'll see she's used that fabric on one of them. Take a look again. Well, here is our answer. Here is the collage that she used that fabric on. And can you see that along the edge where she cut the fabric, she has left off or let on the little pieces of threads from the fabric to use as part of the collage, just as we saw in Figure in Plaid. And then here she painted the other part of the cardboard a white color with black stripes and a black dot. So as I was looking at these collages, I came up with a couple more materials that I'd like to add to my artist toolkit. And one of them is cardboard. I have found a lot of cardboard from a box to use in my collages, just because she uses collage as cardboard as a backing for some of her collages, and she cuts it out and puts it on some of the collages. And the last thing, the last material that I'm going to add is this piece of brightly colored fabric. It reminded me a little bit of the colors in Jo's collages, so I thought I would add it. So as I promised, here is a photo that shows you all of the materials that are in my toolkit: fabric and cardboard and magic markers and tape and paper and things. So you can use those materials if you like, or you can look around your house and find materials that have inspired you from Jo's collages. So as I said, we're going to take a couple seconds, and I'll come back and we'll be able to, I'll take some questions live and we can comment back and forth with each other, and I'll show you the collage that I made. Well, hey everyone. Thank you for joining me for the live part of our time together. And I saw some questions come in, but what I'd love to know, as I'm going to show you my collage in just a second, and if you have questions, type them in now. And then also I want to find out what materials you liked best from the collages that we saw that Jo made. So here is my collage, or part of my collage. I really liked her use of African fabrics. I didn't have a piece of African fabric, so I used this bright piece, and I let the little pieces from the fabric drape over this other part that was, I guess if I had paints, would have been painted, but it's a plaid pattern. And then I couldn't resist, because I like the raw canvas so much that Jo put on her collage. I put some masking tape there. And then I wanted to play around a little bit with cardboard, some cardboard shapes, but I couldn't figure out really where I liked this on here. And so I thought a little bit about Figure in Plaid and decided I would just have it sort of as a separate work of art and just kind of have it hanging, have it hanging out somewhere on my collage. So that's what I made. In a second, at the very end of this video, we're going to give you a hashtag so that when you make collages, you can hashtag them, and then I'll be able to see what you made. So Is there an image of the wall of small collages that's available? Adrienne, there isn't, but where I can tell you to go is to look on our website, and there's an exhibitions page that would have the exhibition going on now, and so you would be able to screenshot that or something if you want the image. Do I have a title for my two pieces? Well, the collages that Jo made are part of a collection called the Mongrel Collection, and each is numbered. So Mongrel 1, Mongrel number 29, whatever. So maybe I would, I don't know, some name. I'll call it collage number 1 and 2. So there we go. Sarah, I saw that you asked a question sort of at the very beginning, and that, a statement that you and your family love to make collages at home. And so I'm wondering what materials you all use when you make collages. I would love to hear that. Let's see. What is her inspiration? Okay. Well, she is, well, a couple things. First of all, she is both an artist and a writer and a reader of creative writing. So lots of creative writing inspires her works of art, but also in the collection, the Mongrel collection that cover the wall, those shapes are actually from negative spaces that she takes from various paintings by Matisse, Henri Matisse. So say we see a vase here and something else here, she would be really interested in this space. So she would take that space and make a collage with it. Sarah, when will the museum be reopened? That's what we all want to know. So we won't reopen until it's completely safe to do so. So right now the museum is closed, but hopefully we'll be able to get back in there so that you can see these works of art live or in person, because there's nothing better than seeing that and being surrounded by actual works of art. Let's see. Yes, Amanda would like a bio for Jo Smail, and we'll put up a website in just a second that you can read about it. Jo actually has a website that she maintains, and we'll send you there. All right, so Sarah likes to use lots of things from nature, sticks, leaves, and flowers. Does she ever use those types of things in her work? Sarah, that's a really good question. And I, not in anything that I've seen, in none of the collages. That doesn't mean that she hasn't, I just don't know. And I will tell you that in 1996, so let me say that she and her husband came for the first time to the United States in 1972 because he was a scientist at Johns Hopkins. He was on sabbatical, and then they came back to live permanently. And in 1996, her studio burned to the ground, and essentially she lost most, or if not all, of her artworks prior to then. So it could be that she had worked with those materials before everything burned, but I'm not sure. Will the curator give any online talks? Laura, that is a good question. I'm not sure. I guess we can go to our website and find that out. Do I predict a flood of artwork being produced during this coronavirus pandemic? Raquel, that's a really good question. I would say yes, right? Because lots of artists, either writers or musicians or visual artists, often create because of emotional feeling that comes up, and because of all of the various senses of isolation and loneliness that many people feel, that we might see a lot of artwork from them. Oh, interesting. So Sarah said that the shapes reminded her of Matisse and that the stark black reminds her of Asian characters. Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you for this. You might want to add organic shapes to this art lesson. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, we can talk about organic shapes. So that's sort of curved shape. We can talk about organic shapes. So let's see if you have a couple more questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I would like to let you know. So I did say that she comes in and out of the galleries a lot. And I had a phone conversation with her, and she was lovely. And in fact, it was a professor of one of my colleagues, and he said that she had the most profound effect on his artwork because of her caring nature. All right, we'll take one more second, see if anybody has anything to add or to ask. All right, so this is what I'd love for you to do. So here is our hashtag. The hashtag, if you make collages and would like us to see them, is the hashtag ArtBMA from home. ArtBMA from home. So make your collages and add that hashtag. I will see you again in 2 weeks on Thursday, May 28th at 2 o'clock. And we're going to take a look at our Antioch mosaics. And if you would like more resources to do with your families or with your children, we have a families tab at the top of our website. And if you click on that, it'll give you resources for families. And if you click on that, you'll see free Family Sundays online, and there's materials there for you to print out if you like, but then also videos for you to follow to make works of art yourself. So I'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Have a good rest of your day.